Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/TrueOffMyChest, where a cheating wife gets caught by her own daughter. Wow, what a scumbag. Let's begin, everybody. I caught my mom cheating and she's trying to convince me that my father knows. Posted by Reddit user Forever Torn Apart.
I'm 17 female, and until a couple of days ago, I thought I lived in the perfect family raised by my two loving parents, early 40s. My dad is an engineer who has been traveling a lot for the past year, and my mom is in healthcare taking shifts in different times of the day. My laptop broke down and I asked to use mom's laptop to finish a school project. When I was working, I saw a couple of WhatsApp web notifications pop up with sexual messages. I tried not to pay attention until I realized these were from Pete and not from Dad. I could not believe my eyes, and I felt like throwing the laptop in the trash and pretend I never saw it. After I collected my thoughts, I went back to the chat, and from what I can see, they met at least 4 to 5 times starting just a couple of months after my dad began traveling. I took photos of the chat history and went to my room trying to process. I couldn't even finish my homework. From the messages, they were supposed to meet tonight, and lo and behold, just half an hour before the meeting time, she passed by my room to let me know she's going to work. The next day, I gathered my courage to confront her. I think she knew that I discovered her because the new chat messages have been read by me, and I think I left the chat tab open before returning her laptop. I told her I knew what she was doing and that it was wrong. She sat me down and tried to calm me, but I told her no way I would be calm, and she said I will understand once I hear the explanation. She told me that she and Dad agreed to open their marriage shortly after he began traveling. To be honest, I didn't fully comprehend, so she explained what that entailed. She told me it was completely physical and she would never have feelings for anyone other than my dad. The messages I read support this, as they were only about sex and that they agreed to only do it if one of them is away. She closed by saying that this is adult stuff agreed between two loving adult spouses, and I should stay out of it. I was dumbfounded and didn't know how to react the whole time. I started reading online about open marriage, and this is how I found this subreddit. It was consistent with what she said, but it just didn't make sense to me. I don't believe my dad would agree to this, as his views are generally more conservative. Also, when he's away, he's more present with us than her, as he video chats with us or plays online games with my two brothers almost daily. In yesterday's call, I asked him why he has to travel a lot, and he said this is hard, but it is necessary to secure college money for me and my brothers. He assured me that it will change soon. I asked him how can he bear being away from his wife for almost half of the year. He said since their relationship foundation is strong, temporary separation only causes them to miss each other more and value the limited time they have with each other. He asked me if everything is all right, and I told him not to worry. I honestly don't know if I should believe her. Should I ask her for proof for the open marriage claim? I am mortified to tell Dad, but is that my only option to confirm? I don't want our perfect family to be torn apart, but would it be fair to Dad to keep this secret? I've been crying non-stop since this revelation and don't know what to do.
OP, tell your father. If he already knows, then he won't care. Sure, he might get a little bit embarrassed about it, but if it is an open marriage, then they fucked up by not being discreet enough about it. Quite honestly, I highly doubt it. This is not an open marriage. Your mother's fucking another guy. So, OP, your father needs to know, and you need to tell him. A kid like you shouldn't even be involved in this kind of shit. Your mom screwed up, big time. And now for OP's update.
I thought this would be a good time to update you about how the situation progressed, but it'll be a long post. Reading through your responses, there were a lot of people recommending to tell my dad and others to keep to myself out or talk it out with mom. It took me a lot of time to think and decide that I want to somehow bring it up with my dad, but that I wanted to wait to do it in person. His next home visit was in 5 days after the original incident. While waiting for that, I was really uncomfortable with my mom and was thinking twice about any move she makes. She tried to play it cool, open conversations, or suggest going out, but I just tried to avoid her. Even if my dad did know, I was subconsciously treating her in a cold manner. This might have contributed to what would happen next. On the night before my father's arrival, it seems mom broke down. She came into my room when I was about to sleep and asked if we can talk. She started to talk about generic things and how hard it was for her to be almost a single mom for the past year with 2 teenage boys, and thanked me for helping out with that. Now I started to see her tear up while bringing up that she might not have been completely honest about the open relationship thing. Long story short, according to her, she suggested to Dad a while ago to open the marriage, but he didn't give her a definite answer. Rather, that he will think about it and get back to her. She said that she asked to revisit, but he keeps changing the subject. So, no agreement from my dad. That was clearly established. Now at least I know what to expect when I approach my dad. By this time, she's completely sobbing and trying to guilt-trip me about the consequences of disclosing the whole information to him. I felt sorry for her and told her the right thing to do was to come clean with him, but she said she doesn't have the courage to do it. I said that I will do it if she doesn't. She said she'll think about it, and we both went to bed. Not that I could get any sleep that night after this. My dad arrived the next afternoon. Earlier that morning, my mom sent in the family chat that she had to take an emergency shift, won't be back until the evening, and apologized profoundly. In the private chat, I told her what the hell she's doing, and she said she's not ready to tell him and needs more time to find the courage. I told her that I don't think I can hold it and act normal around him, so he most likely will find out from me if she doesn't do it tonight. She sent several crying emojis, then gave me the go-ahead to talk to him, and told me to update her if it is safe for her to come back home after I talk to Dad. I don't know what she meant, as my dad was never the violent type. Over dinner, my dad was visibly displeased as Mom never takes shifts during his arrival. When we were alone, after having a lot of small talks, he was telling me that one of his co-workers is getting married next week, so he'll try to stay around to attend that. I used this as transition and told him that I came across the term open marriage. I told him that after hearing and reading about it, I asked Mom what she thinks of it, and Mom told me it would be ideal for her situation. Then asked him what he thought about it. He was taken by surprise. He said he doesn't believe in polygamy, another term I just learned, and that if a couple feel the need for it, they should address the issue that makes them feel that way. And if this issue cannot be resolved, then polygamy would not be the answer. I asked if Mom asked him for an open marriage. He said yes, but that he refused on the spot. After that, he promised her that he'll ask to take a local position, kind of a demotion for him, as he didn't know this is how she felt, especially since he didn't take this job in the first place until she was okay with him traveling. He was actually just approved to move back to our city, and will start the new job after the new year. He was planning to surprise my mom with the news. I asked him when was the first time they talked about this open marriage proposal, and he assured that it was only one talk that happened around 5 months ago. This is definitely after the time my mom first met Pete. He started to pressure me about what's going on, but I was able to get out of the conversation as I needed some alone time to make up the two sides of the story. By looking at the message dates, apparently my mom started seeing this guy, not sure if they had sex initially or not, then asked to open the marriage to give her legitimacy to fuck him. When my dad refused, she did it anyway. I was boiling and couldn't think straight. I messaged her to please come home and that everything is fine. Then I messaged Dad screenshots of her conversation with Pete. Then I came here to write this update. I really don't care about what happens next and won't write another update. Whether they separate or not isn't important to me anymore, as I know life won't get back to what it was anyway. The important thing is that I made peace with me carrying this burden.
Oh man, I am so sorry, OP. This isn't the first time that someone has suggested opening a marriage just to justify their own cheating. Your mom had the opportunity to talk to your father herself, but she chose to manipulate you instead. A fucking coward who doesn't deserve the title of mother. Please remember, OP, whatever the fallout is, it is not your fault. You are not to blame for any of it. Your mom is. Your mom should have never placed the burden of secrecy on you. She lied to you and wanted you to lie to your father. You did the right thing, despite being put in an impossible situation by someone who should have known better, by someone who should have had your best interest at heart. The only thing to do now is to step aside and let your parents deal with their own marriage. Don't get caught up by being a confidant for either of them. Don't let them involve you any further. Of course, that doesn't mean that you can't let your dad know how much you love him. Trust me, he will be dealing with a lot in the next coming months. A quick hug and a kind word will help him more than you know. So good luck to you and your siblings, OP. And now for today's second story. Is it normal to suddenly be obsessed with your spouse? Posted by Reddit user StrangeNote7308.
I, 42, have been married to my husband, 50, for almost 2 years now. Before that, we dated for 3 years. This is not my first marriage. My ex-husband and I divorced because he cheated on me with his coworker. I have been with my ex for 15 years and married for 10. But never have I felt this strong attraction towards my ex like I am with my husband. I am obsessed with him. Whenever he comes home from work, I always rush to the door like a puppy to greet him. Even when he is watching TV or doing some work, I just like to watch him. I don't know why. I never felt this way in my first marriage. It has been like this for a few months. Even when we were dating, we had intimacy. But it was never like this for me. It has become an obsession. Whenever I am around him, I just like to hold his hand or just be next to him. Last night I did something stupid. He was watching his TV as usual after putting our son to sleep. I went to him and started humping him. Though I am sure he liked it, he asked me what has gotten into me. I only want to do it with him more often. I fucking blushed like a teenager. I always look for an opportunity to have sex with him. He never denied sex. He would always make me orgasm. But it is just so embarrassing because I am a grown woman, acting like a teenager who is going through puberty. Even now when I am surfing Reddit and making this post, he is next to me and laughing at some meme on Facebook. God, he looks handsome. It just gives me butterflies. I know it is a good thing, but I do not want to scare him. I do not want him to think I am too clingy or taking up his personal space. Should I tell him what's on my mind?
Well, of course you should tell him. Tell him what's exactly on your mind, OP. Your husband will be glad to hear it. Look, man, I know why you're behaving like this. You're with someone that you actually like, someone that you enjoy spending time with, someone that you find attractive. Of course, you're gonna behave like a horny teenager. Your body is just doing what it's supposed to do because you are with someone that you truly love. And I think it's fucking awesome. If men have a girlfriend or a wife that behaves like this exclusively for us for the rest of our lives, then you bet your fucking ass you will make your husband the happiest man alive. So OP, please keep doing it. I like this story already. It's both horny and wholesome, the perfect combination. But for now, it's time for OP's update.
I know no one asked for this, but I told him about what's really going on and how my sex drive is through the roof. I told him that I love him and he makes me feel like I am a teenager discovering love for the first time. That he always makes my day, and he literally cried. I have been with him for 5 years and he has never cried before. I felt so overwhelmed and asked him if I said something wrong. He told me that no one has ever said that to him. His ex-wife told him before leaving him for her affair partner that he is not a man. He is not a good lover and she doesn't like how he is in bed. One of the reasons why he has trouble dating is because of what his ex told him. I told him not to worry about that because I am really obsessed with him. He always takes care of my needs and always praises me. That he is really good in bed. Even at his age, he has better stamina than most men. We made love that night, except it was way more passionate and intimate. Even in the morning we stayed in bed and cuddled. He promised me that he would take me to our honeymoon because we couldn't have it because of my pregnancy and other stuff. We are planning to go on a romantic weekend next week. The only reason I am making this update is that all this made me realize how less he was appreciated as a man. His ex-wife was cruel to emasculate him and calling him bad names for showing emotions. I love this man so much even when he is vulnerable. So, I advise you guys to appreciate your spouse as much as you can. And if you cannot get that even after confronting, it's time to look for people who would appreciate you for you. Wish you luck.
Great! You told him, OP. You know what? Your first post gave me the impression that you were a little bit insecure about the sheer intensity of your feelings. But now, you found out that it is highly appreciated. And you just made your husband a very happy, horny man. Absolutely wonderful. Good job, OP. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my YouTube channel for you to watch absolutely free. So consider clicking that super thanks just below the video title, or you can use my PayPal in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.